will now move into my favorite segment of the show. So you think you're smarter than a rhino. The purpose of this segment is to answer as best you can 6 questions. 5 questions will constantly change. And these are questions that if you are a Club Rhino Plus member, you will know the answers to. And the 6th question is going to stay the same. So the first question on So You Think You're Smarter Than Rhino is, what is the maximum contribution you can make to a Roth IRA in 2022?
Geez, I haven't looked it up. It's probably 6,000 still.
It is
or
6,000.
Okay, that hasn't changed then.
It hasn't. Do you know what the catch-up contribution amount is and what age you'd have to be at in order to take advantage of the catch-up contribution? This is about
7,055 and over.
Yep. All right. What time frame does an investor have to own a stock in order to be taxed at the long-term capital gains rate instead of the short-term capital gains rate?
A year and a day.
Bam. What is the difference between being rich and being wealthy?
The difference between being rich and being wealthy is not just having money in the bank, but having a plan, having a managed cash flow, because I could be making $500,000 a year and my expenses are $490,000 a year. Having a transition plan for my wealth so that, I've got life insurance and I can ultimately escape estate taxes and probate. I would say that that's the difference.
So I don't know. I'm going to review the tape and determining whether to give that to you or not. But this is our definition. Being rich is measured in money and being wealthy is measured in time. And so if you're rich, you can make $250,000 a year. But like you said, if you have $250,000 a year or $300,000 a year in expenses, you're not really rich, right? You just make a lot of money. Versus being wealthy, you could be wealthy and only make $50,000 a year, but you make it passively. You're no longer trading your time for money. So if you make $50,000 a year passively and your expenses are less than $50,000 a year, you are no longer trading your time for money. You're considered wealthy. And so that's how we define the difference between being rich, measured in money. You're still trading your time for money. Wealthy, measured in time. You are no longer trading your time for money. You have passive income coming in.
Sure.
All right. These questions get harder still. When thinking about real estate investment properties, which one of these things is not a depreciable asset or item? Which one of these things is not a depreciable item? Number 1, the roof. Number 2, the HVAC system. Number 3, plumbing. Number 4, raw land. Or number 5, all of these things are depreciable items.
Raw land is not depreciable.
Correct. All right. Folks, do not try to depreciate land. All right. You cannot do it. You will get caught. Okay, cool. In what order should someone invest for retirement between traditional, 401k match, and Roth?
They should take the 401k match first because that's free money. Traditional and Roth can be a little bit subjective because it depends on your income, your tax rate now versus what you expect it to be in retirement. But if I have to make a blanket statement, I would say Roth and then traditional.
That is correct. I mean, the answer you were going to give is also technically correct because it is subjective. However, we say 401k match first, it's free money, then Roth, then traditional, because we are banking on people being wealthy. And we believe that they are going to be in a higher tax bracket. And so we're already planning for that. And then the last question, my favorite question, what does the RINO acronym stand for?
Oh, it stands for real estate investing and new opportunities.
I love the effort. A for effort. That is not correct. It stands for real education, investments in performing assets, no bad debt, and oversight of those assets. And so that's what we are all about here at RINO Invest. We're all about educating people, spreading the gospel of financial literacy and IQ, talking to people about the different types of assets, performing and non-performing, and why we want you to invest in performing assets. Getting rid of bad debt, you talked about it at the beginning of the show. Credit cards have to go. Terrible debt. Student loans, terrible debt. But there are debts that are good, like a mortgage, especially a mortgage that's on an investment property, because that would be a performing asset. So we also have a video on that too, the difference between good and bad debt. And then oversight of those assets. You can't engage in oversight if you don't know what it is that you're looking at, which means you have to increase your financial literacy so that you can, if you're working with a financial advisor such as yourself or a financial planner or somebody in this field, you know what questions to ask about your portfolio. So, so yeah, thank you for playing. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to talking to you again.
All right. Thank you, Cassian. Go right now.
Thanks, man.